Welcome, welcome, welcome back to another episode of Dreams, Dollars, and Destiny. I'm one of your hosts, Porcha Cooper with the Soul Card Studio, joined by my other co-host, Nick with Supreme Numerics, and then we have my other co-host with Numeralytics, Malinda, Queen B. So we're excited to be back. We're excited to bring you another great episode of information that you can use and help you grow. And this week's topic that we're talking about is how to survive the current economy, y'all. Look, we're all feeling the pinch, we're all feeling the crunch. And let's be honest, this current economy is really no joke. I just left the gas pump myself, so I know I'm feeling it. You guys are feeling it between the rising prices, the stagnant wages, sky high interest rates, and then the job market, right? The instability or unpredictability of the job market on top of that. People are really feeling squeezed and also just drained at this point and wondering how they're going to be able to keep up as these prices continue to climb, right? Because remember, this is just today, and where we're going to be out during the summer with these gas prices, who knows? Because typically summer is the driving season, so the prices normally go up during summer anyway. So we're probably going to be in for a big surprise this summer coming up. Now, whether you're living paycheck to paycheck or drowning in debt, just trying to keep up and stretch your dollar a little more, it's getting even harder. So I just want to say you're not alone. And more importantly, we're going to provide you with some real practical strategies that can help you not just survive, but actually get ahead in this economy. So if you're ready to take control and stop letting the economy call the shots, then you're definitely in the right place. So let's get started. Now, this current economy is, how can I say, by design, right? It's no wonder we are where we are. We have some people in office that unfortunately are not looking out for our best interests, especially not economically, and they're not feeling the squeeze as much as we are because they have billions of dollars, right? And the typical average American doesn't make billions of dollars, right? And so when things go up, we feel the pinch more than those at the top. And it's a lot of callousness, I think, that goes into this as well. Because when you are insulated in that world, in that billionaire world, you're not thinking about the common man and their common and their struggles in their daily life and how they have to pay for healthcare, food, taxes, insurance, rent, mortgage, whatever your situation is. But these are, and not to mention utilities, these are bills that don't go away, right? These are not bills that you just pay off one time and then like I'm done. This is an ongoing thing. And to be honest with you, the gas prices, that let's start there because that is the basis for the cost of everything else. So if it's going to cost more to transport those goods, guess who's going to be paying for that difference? It's going to be you at the end, right? The consumer. So we're trying to actually come up with ways that we can make money out of this economy versus lose more money in this economy. Because to be honest, we need to look at it this way. And I've said this before on other podcasts. It's not the fact that everything is costs more, it's the fact that your dollar is worth less. When Nixon took the gold standard away back in 1971, the $100 was $100 back then because it was backed by gold. That same $100 back in 1971 is now worth $8 today after 50 years, right? Inflation. The powers that be knew that that was going to happen once the gold standard was removed, but they didn't care because this is, like we said before, this is the energy extraction system, a wealth extraction system. They're looking to take your money from you however they can. And whether it's through the cost of goods and services going up or food costs going up, gas, whatever, right? You're going to be left with nothing at the end of the day because remember what they said, you will own nothing and be happy. So I want to, go ahead and pass the mic over to one of my co-hosts so they can kind of chime in on this as well. But this is where we're at, and I know that everybody's feeling it. And what do you guys think, or what do you have to say about this?
Peace and love, everybody. So I'll go ahead and go first. But yes, I agree with everything that you just said. The pressure is definitely real, right? We're definitely all feeling it. We're not imagining this debt. We're not imagining groceries, rent, gas, and utilities all rising, and that our wages and our pay are not rising. And not only that, people are losing their jobs right now. A lot of people have been laid off. They're laying people off due to the recent boom in AI. There was just a story out where Marvel laid off over 1,000 of their art and visual development department. Some of these people who made the original makers of the characters on Marvel, they laid them off and they're basically replacing them with AI. So I think it's a couple things. First of all, just to speak on that, that's going to be terrible for Marvel. AI is good, it's good for some stuff, but like I wanna see the original art. I wanna see art from people who drew these things up and then make that come to life. Like, I don't wanna just see the cheat code of taking the art that these people already did and then kind of upscaling it through AI, because that's all it's gonna really be is variations of what the original people already made. So, AI is really just gonna take over. It was said that AI would take over 60% of jobs, and I think that's already starting to happen. So, households are starting to feel the squeeze, and then if we just look at, the US, a lot of, Americans are in debt. Aside from the national debt that the country's in, a lot of Americans themselves are in debt, and a lot of it is due to, like, credit card debt and like student loans and mortgages and stuff like that. And people are starting to really feel this pressure and they feel like they're falling behind. And it's not really just an economic issue because this affects your mental health. This affects your peace of mind, your relationships. It affects your dreams, right? And your destiny and your dollars. It affects all three.
And your
There
lifestyle.
is Yeah, so there is long-term implications of this inflation and all these rising prices and lowering wages. That's really put us all in kind of a pinch, like you said.
Yeah.
Yep,
And
yep.
yeah, go ahead, Nick.
Yes, yes. True indeed. True indeed. Peace and love, everyone out there. And, just to add on to what Portia and Queen B just shared, especially with the debt, and you mentioned student loans. I remember watching a documentary, ironically, just as I was graduating from college. It was called The College Conspiracy, and it showed how much of a business college is, and not just a business, but the structure of it is a scam in the sense that more graduates are being produced than available jobs. So not only are people getting into this exorbitant amount of student loan debt, but they're underemployed. And along with that, that I've noticed is that when it comes to skills and certain vocations and careers, the world is producing less less people who have those skills, with folks not pursuing high need areas and careers. So that contributes to the underemployment. And not only is the squeeze of the economy affecting the mental health, but oftentimes the mental health is a cause of the financial squeeze, especially when it comes to consumer debt. People, they use spending as a way to cope with whatever hardships they're facing, instead of finding more efficient ways to find joy internally and within. They might take vacations or spend on material items to fill whatever void that's missing within them. That's not to say that you shouldn't do things for yourself and treat yourself and enjoy yourself, but you have to make sure that you have the funds and you're being responsible with the money that you have, to enjoy those things. So you end up living above your means sometimes. So it's created by design, by these people who control the world, and then sometimes, we how should I say it? We play right into their hands also by getting in our own way.
That's true. That's true. And you know, Queen talked. She touched on something when she talked about how Marvel fired their artists and everything, and how you feel like everything was better when it was hand drawn. You know, when Toy Story came out over 30 years ago, I didn't watch it because of that reason. I felt like that's not true animation. The whole Pixar thing, you know, that became a whole thing. And so I saw the direction 30 years ago it was going, and I wasn't supporting it then. So I thought that was funny that you said that. And another thing that we're not even considering about this whole economic squeeze is the small businesses, because you got to think about this. Remember, I already told you everything is going up because of transportation costs. So that means they're having to spend more for the same goods and service to run their businesses. That means increased prices. Well, people are not making as much, so they're not going to have as much money to go out and go eat, right? And so you're going to see a lot of these small restaurants, mom and pop shops start to close. You already see Spirit Airline went out of business because remember, Spirit was for the everyday person. It was supposed to be low economic fare. So anything that was supposed to be low economic, affordable, let's put that word out there. Anything that was affordable, right, is no longer going to be, and those type of businesses that are in that game are going to no longer exist. So I don't know how much time the Dollar Tree, your dollar store, and everybody has, because remember, their model is low cost and affordability. And if everything is going up, then how are they going to be able to sustain that model? They won't, right? They won't. And so we have to look at the larger impact and how this is going to affect us on a commerce level locally, and how that's going to affect the local businesses who are basically going to fold. There's no way to survive. I've had a conversation with a friend whose daughter works at a pizza company and pizza restaurant, and they would get a flat of tomatoes, which would cost about $35. That same flat of tomatoes that they ordered this week was $70. So how much longer is that restaurant going to be able to sustain? So, it's really sad to see that this slice of America is going away. The America that we knew, the America that we grew up with, this is no longer that. We are being hijacked by billionaires who want to control the world and have their own bubble and leave us out of it. And it's unfortunate that we haven't figured this out to come together yet.
Absolutely.
And you see how these shows are connecting, because what are these businesses going to start doing to cut costs, especially these restaurants, and even clothing businesses. They're going to start using materials and ingredients that are more harmful for us. They're going to, instead of growing food the traditional way, like growing those tomatoes the traditional way, they're going to start using the GMO or the laboratory grown food. Or they're going to, they're already making these clothes with all these microplastics and these fast fashion things to cut costs. So with the squeeze of the economy, we're only going to see the increase of those practices.
I definitely agree. And right now, I just want to look at some statistics just to give people an idea where we are in this country as far as debt. So I am going to share the screen real quick. So let's put this up nice and big. So if we look at this, this is age group and population by total debt. So Americans that are 18 to 29, they're in $52.6 million. Well, there's 52.6 million. I'm not sure if that's the number of people, but the total debt looks like it's 1.5 trillion for them, right? And then the average per capita average is $19,000. So if you're between 18 and 29, your average debt that you're carrying around is $19,000. If you're between 30 and 39, your average debt that you're carrying around is $84,000. Between 40 and 49, your average debt is $111,000. Between 50 and 59, your average debt is $97,000. Between 60 and 69, $67,000. And if you're 70 or older, your debt is at around $43,000. Now, I wanted to show this and talk about these statistics because, oops, where's my folks at? There you go. I wanted to talk about these statistics because this is a time in the country where there is a lot changing. We're in that one universal year. We know between now and 2030, which is going to be the 5 universal year, the face of this country is going to be completely different. The way that we think about money, the way that we spend money, all of that's going to be changed. It's all going to be different. And like Portia said, it's being driven by the elites and the billionaires who have one goal in common, and that's to keep themselves alive forever and to either keep us all as a slave class, because that's what all of us are, or to just get rid of us all, like off us all, and they want to keep their bubble. But what they want to do is they want to integrate their consciousness with AI. And that's another reason why we need to really take a hard look at how we use AI and what we do with AI and what we feed AI. AI is learning everything about us, and it's really for the billionaires and these big tech companies to gather this data and gather this information so they can use it, really for maniacal purposes for the future of how they want to see the future of the country. So I wanted to bring that debt table up because think about that. If you're 18 to 29 and you have $20,000 worth of debt, you don't have you don't have any type of really major skills because you're either still in college or coming out of college. So you don't have experience to get a good job. There's probably no good jobs out there anyway because of AI. So it's like, how are you making your money? How are you making money to be able to hold that $20,000 worth of debt? you know, and it's going to get to a point where people are just not going to be able to keep up with it at all. I think right now we're on the brink and we're all hanging on by like a thread. But I would say within the next 2 years, people are not going to be able to handle those numbers of debt. And especially when we look at the older population, what's a 70-year-old going to do with that much debt? So it's really a huge problem that we do need to really think about and address. And one of the things that we need to address about it is looking at ourselves again, always looking inward at ourselves to see what we prioritize as far as when we're spending. Are we prioritizing things that we need, or are we prioritizing things that we want? And are we doing any type of like emotional spending, which is possible because we're all in a little bit of an emotional turmoil, with everything that's going on in the country. So I just said that I just wanted to say that that's a lot of debt for us to be carrying around, especially for a country that can print its own money. So it's just very, very ironic.
Yeah, we live in a debt society and it was crafted, right? That was debt. This whole thing with debt is by no surprise. For one, they never taught the general public really how to use credit. Credit is not for you to go buy new shoes and go on a vacation. It's supposed to be used to leverage to buy assets. And the unfortunate thing is that they don't give you financial literacy education in school for you to know how money works and how you should actually invest the money and then use the money that's invested from that to buy whatever it is right after you bought the asset that's going to make you money. So, and you brought up a really good point, Queen, that it is a 1 year. So one means a new beginning. This is the reset point. And then to further drive that point home, America is about to be 250 years old on July 4th. They say most civilizations only live or only survive up to 250 years. And remember, this was an experiment. The whole American country was an experiment. The people from Europe and the ruling class said, "Hey, let's mess around with the idea of democracy and see how they do. But we're going to make them consumers, right? And they're going to feed off our teeth, right? We're going to make sure that we extract whatever wealth we can from them, put our central banks in place, and all that good stuff." So with this 1 year, we have to think of it as a reset. Like you have to start thinking differently how you're going to be moving a little bit differently over these next 9 years because we're in a whole new cycle as far as our numbers go. So it's a reset button, y'all. And if you were clinging to old ways of being, now it's the time to think about how can I be different in this new economy? How can I operate a little bit differently, but still, maintain my quality of life without that impacting me too much, right? As far as my mental health, because we have a lot of people who basically base their identity on their money, and we need to stop doing that, right? Your money does not determine your wealth, your worth. I'm sorry, not your wealth, but your worth, right? You were already worthy when you were born. You didn't need a dollar to your name. And actually, you're worth more than gold. And you need to realize that. But we don't see that because we weren't taught that. So you're going to have to start moving a little bit differently and get out of that root chakra, right? Because everybody can be operating from that base chakra, which is root survival, and learn how to bring that energy up to the higher chakras, right? At least to your solar plex, and say, I am a survivor. I am going to thrive in this new economy. And ways that you can do that, Queen touched on one of them. Learn AI. AI is out there free. It's out there for everybody. You don't have to pay for it. It can come up with some ideas for you if you ain't got one. I mean, shoot, y'all. I mean, there's so many ways to make money with AI. It's ridiculous. But if you're never exploring that, then how are you going to be bringing in extra money? Because guess what? You don't have that much hours in the day. There's only 24 hours. You got to sleep out of 8. So how are you going to be making more money by chasing and hustling? You need to think of ways that you can come up with an idea, whether that's a book, a product, or something that can be sold while you sleep, right? You need to, whatever, everybody has some type of skill, some type of experience, some type of background that they can put out and market. I don't care if you're a stay-at-home mom with 5 kids. You could talk about rearing kids, how to properly do whatever with your children, right? We have parents that have autistic children. You can talk about how it is to raise an autistic child and what you do for that child. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do to bring more money in this economy, and it doesn't require you to have another job or take another hour out of your day. So that's just one nugget that I wanted to give everybody, because just like she was saying, AI is out there. Now, people want to complain that it's taking your job, but how about this? Won't you make AI do your job, do the job of making you money?
Another thing they can do with AI, and what I had suggested like a few months back on a different show, I suggested a lot of people try to work to gain a skill and to gain the skill set to fix AI machines, like to fix, things that have to do with AI or robots, or get into engineering and stuff like that. So you're able to fix these things, because when these things start to break down, someone's going to have to fix them, right? So, that could be one lane that people, if you don't want to use AI head on, learn it, learn the back end of it, so you can learn how to fix it or help be support for people, like an IT for it or something like that. So that's another thing that people could do if they don't want to actually, use AI, right?
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Now watch this. Connect the dots between two of the points that Portia said. Portia mentioned learning the skills such as AI, and also producing something like a book or speaking on a subject in which you have expertise. And then she also mentioned a few minutes ago about using credit to purchase assets. So you connect those dots by taking your skill or whatever product you produce that you're selling and create a business out of that. And when I say create a business, like create an official business, like get it incorporated and make it a real business, get your phone number, website, all those things. So that way you can be eligible to get the credit, and you can take that business that you originally use. And by the way, I'm not giving you financial advice, everybody. Disclaimer, everyone. We are not giving you financial advice. So don't come for us. But speaking in general, you could take that skill or that product and turn it into a business and use that business to get credit, leverage tax laws, because people complain about how much taxes are being taken from your paycheck, but America favors the business owner more than the employee. So if you want to pay less in taxes, you need to own a business. So if you're already creating another stream of income and using the skill as a business, you might as well make it an official business so you can take advantage of the tax laws. You could get access to the credit, and you could take that to get your cash flowing passive assets. So that's how you connect those dots together. So don't reach out to me for how to do that. Reach out to like an official business advisor, someone who's done it. Yeah, I'm starting the process of going through it, but I'm just telling you where to start and who to look for and who to connect with. So you want to connect with some type of business advisor or some type of accountant, lawyer, someone who knows the legal aspects, who can show you how to do it legally. Keyword legally. So that's how you connect the dots right there. And you can do that with your AI skills and your AI business too.
True. True. Um, Another thing that people can do, because Malinda also brought up the thing about looking to see what you're spending money on that you don't really need. All those subscriptions, like, and this is something that I heard from someone earlier. Shout out to Haru who brought this up. He does a wealth YouTube channel on Wednesdays. But one of the things that he brought up was the fact that Netflix people for no ads on Netflix, you're paying $26 a month. $26 a month for Netflix, right? So if you took that same amount of money that you would be spending on Netflix per month and invested in Netflix as far as the stock, right? Take that same money you was going to spend as a consumer consuming Netflix and be an investor in Netflix and have Netflix pay you to watch their streaming channel. You see what I'm saying? So we don't even think of ways that we can actually build our wealth with the current money that we have. If you got enough money to be paying $26 a month for Netflix, then you doggone sure got enough money to go buy some Netflix stock. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And build your money. Amazon, Walmart, whatever company or corporation that you're using right now, you need to go ahead and invest that money into that company, because guess what? That company is going to be around forever and it's going to do well. And you know the stock is going to be steady. And now you have a form of income, right? Or some type of fallback for your family, and you're not a consumer, right? Now you're an investor. And now you're getting paid to watch whatever corporation that you decided to invest in. And so we need to start looking at things definitely in a whole new light. It's not about going out there getting a second and third, fourth, fifth job, right? It's about how can I use what I currently have to work for me.
Yep. And
Yeah.
also to build off of that with those subscriptions, you want to take inventory of all of your expenses. So you don't necessarily have to downgrade your lifestyle. You want to start with cutting the fat. Look at what you're spending on monthly, such as those subscriptions that you don't need to be spending money on, that you can cancel, or look at what you're overpaying for. And take a look at your policies, such as your car insurance policies and those type of policies. And again, have someone who has expertise in that area to take a look at your monthly expenses, and they can tell you, because I went through it, and they told me like, yeah, you overpaying for this, for that, and this. And then I found new car insurance policies and new health insurance policies, and I'm cutting those premiums in half just by switching policies. And I didn't have to downgrade my lifestyle. I just found money that I already had. And
Exactly.
I used that money, and then I used that money from where I cut the fat to pay off that consumer debt. That's the quickest way to get a return, is by paying off that debt, paying off that credit card, paying off that car note. So manage what you have already first, while you're adding on those extra streams of income, and that'll help you, survive this current economy.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And I do want to say, like I said, just getting back to our dreams, destiny, and dollars, don't let the lack of dollars in this economy impact your vision and impact your dream. You still have to continue to keep your dream alive, because I know, we all do it. It's human nature. When we go into survival mode, we often abandon our dreams. We abandon that idea. We delay that business plan, or that wanting to go back to school, or, doing something to heal ourselves, or travel, or whatever it is. We abandon those things when the economy is very tight, because, obviously you need to survive. But if I can offer one thing that I think is very important, not to abandon your dreams based on the dollars. Don't abandon your dreams based on the dollars and based on the economy. So we're in the sixth universal month. So what you should be doing is just adjusting, make adjustments for that dream, and just try to balance things out and harmonize things where you can get through the tough time while you're still dreaming, right? You're still actively pursuing your dreams. So that's a little bit of advice I want to offer. as far as not abandoning your dreams because you have a lack of dollars.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and to build off of that, and I mentioned previous shows, corporations rule everything around me, celebrity psyops. These entities, they play a role in this state of the economy that we're in. These are the entities that encourage you and persuade you to spend irresponsibly and to place your worth into things that don't really matter and to take you off your dreams, dollars, and destiny. So I want to add that
Mm-hmm.
piece in there. And then also, we're all astronumerologists on this panel. It's a holistic approach. We listed we mentioned a lot of material and physical approaches, but along with working on your inner self and your inner joy and your self actualization, it's also learning about your relationship with circulation and money on a spiritual level too. When it comes to astrology, numerology, and other metaphysical sciences, they they teach you about how to navigate the material world. What's your relationship with money? How you should time certain things out, whether you need to spend more time attracting wealth versus working towards it. It'll give you insights into what you should be doing if you're doing the right type of vocations and the right type of work. They'll give you insights on your career inclinations and your skills, and you can use those things as a guide to help you navigate your finances. It's all connected. It's not separate. The material isn't separate from the spiritual and the mental and the physical. It's all holistic.
That is so true. What you guys are saying, it is all holistic, and the numbers and the charts are there to help us navigate this mundane world. And to be honest with you, we all go through cycles where we know that these numbers are cyclical. Sometimes your personal year may be a year where you're not supposed to get money, and you may have struggles with money within that year. And it's not anything wrong with that. It's just teaching you how to sharpen your steel. You know what I'm saying? How to be better. And the thing I say to those who may use this economy or not having money to get started on their dreams, that's hogwash, right? I'm gonna say hogwash, right, instead of BS, because for me, it's like you're looking for an excuse not to get started. Because I already said that AI is there as your companion. So even if you don't have the money, you can always ask AI, well, look, what can I do today to get started? Or what small thing can I do to move forward in my business? Now, another thing that I want to show people on top of that, because I'm a big fan of Bitcoin, and I just want to show the graph here real quick, because this is another way you can increase your money. You can buy $1 a day. This goes out to Chicago Bitcoin Bully, because one of the things he always says is $1 a day keeps the poverty away. What does he mean by that? Buying $1 worth of Bitcoin every day will keep inflation off you, because remember, Bitcoin is what, $70,000 now? Now, what this chart shows is the cost of buying a home versus the cost of Bitcoin, right? And so, as you can see, in 2016, the average cost home, let's say 180,000 starting here. In 2016, Bitcoin wasn't that price, but over time, what's going to happen? Your cost of houses are going to rise, but Bitcoin is going to go down. What does that mean? So back in 2015, I think Bitcoin may have been worth about 3,000, right? 3,500 or something like that. There was a guy that actually purchased a home with 100 Bitcoin. He was like one of the first people to purchase property with Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin grew. So that 100 Bitcoin that he had, right, times whatever it is now, was that 70,000? He would have been a millionaire. He bought a house with it instead, and that house is only now worth 500,000.
Wow.
Do you get what I'm saying? So if you guys want to follow the money and learn how to increase your wealth by not working harder, buy more Bitcoin, store it, save it, because that's going to be your key to wealth in the future. Because we're already told you they're doing an economic reset. This dollar is going out of here. They already said China is going to take over as far as the world currency. So if you can't see the writing on the wall, then I don't know what to do, right? Because it's nothing else I can say. Crypto is the future. Now, I'm not saying go invest in all these cryptos. I'm saying Bitcoin, right? Because I know Bitcoin, they're only going to make 21 million Bitcoin ever going to be minted. The last one will be minted sometime in 2040, 2046 or something like that. Now's the time to get in. Yeah, it's like 70,000 right now, but so what? Because in the long run, it's going to be worth millions. And what they're going to try to do, because if you look at all these major systems now Fannie Mae is going to have a mortgage backed by Bitcoin. Now all these institutions are taking Bitcoin. Why? Because they want to extract that from you. That's another wealth extraction measure, so they can have your Bitcoin. Hold on to it. So that was just another little nugget I want to put out for people, because yeah, you can not have to work another job. Just keep buying a little bit of Bitcoin here and there.
Yep. And that's investing right there. So Bitcoin is one area of investing. So you have your Bitcoin, you can have a little bit of paper assets, you can have some, some what they call the physical assets. But yeah, you have some physical assets too. Diversification, have a variety of investments. Investing over or greater than saving, because saving takes a lot longer to grow over time. Portia, I don't know if you mentioned it during the recording or if this was during our behind the scenes before we went live, but you were talking about the interest rates at banks and how it's like 0.000, So you'll grow your wealth quicker by investing over saving. Yes, investing may seem riskier than saving, but the reward is much greater than just putting your money in the bank and earning very little interest on it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you also have to think about it like this, because I'm a real big proponent of Neville Goddard. You have to really focus on your vibrational energy and your thoughts, and really your emotional standing at this point, because yeah, mental health will be affected by those who think their pride and their wealth and their identity is tied to their wealth, right? Those people are going to break down mentally. But if you know that your identity is not tied to your money, and you know that you are an abundant being and you're very prosperous and you can materialize whatever it is that you need at any given point, and everything is always working out for you, then this time will pass just like others have in history, right? Nothing lasts for long, right? And so this economic squeeze that we're feeling right now, this too is temporary, and this too shall pass.
Yeah, it's going back to the holistic. You don't have to separate the spiritual from the material. You bring them together, harmonize them.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. They definitely need to be harmonized, and it's up to you because, again, we're all different. We are all in different cycles. So, you may need to find out where you are in your cycle. You come get a cycle review done, you find out where you are, and you find out, what you should be focusing on. So, this is all a part of going back to making sure that you understand what your destiny is. And then you budget your dollars in this hard economy. You take a hard look at your spending, like Nick said, scale back on your subscriptions. There's different ways that you can budget your money, invest your money, save your money any way you can, but throwing money away to more debt, to more credit card companies is not going to help anybody. And, so with that amount of people with that much credit card debt in this country, the people, we have the power, guys. The power is with the people. So, when we get ready and we decide that it's enough, then it will be enough. So, I want to make sure that people know that too. And you really just have to watch your money habits right now and do not allow the dollars to disrupt your dreams or to disrupt your destiny. So, no time better than to make those adjustments in this month before this month is out, to take a hard look at where you are with your budget, where you are with your spending, and make those adjustments to try to bring it back into a little harmony, to even just make a plan for yourself going forward for how you want to kind of finish this year out. Because if you look at it, we're in May, we're halfway through the year. The year's halfway over. The year flew by. So this is a good time for you to sit and, look at those things and make those adjustments.
That's true. And I just thought about I think we really gave some great ideas and some great solutions for people, because we didn't go the traditional route of telling people, well, cut back on this, cut coupons, do it. We didn't go that route because, we're coming from an abundance perspective, right? We're not saying penny pinch, but there's ways you can to allocate money that you already have, especially if you have vices. If you're a drinker or smoker, right? Instead of buying that next sack or that next can of beer, you need to look at how much you're spending there and cut back on that. And guess what? Your health will thank you for that too. So we need to look at our vices, because our vices are another area where we probably can cut back on and actually benefit ourselves in a greater long run. I'm always, looking at things that I don't need, because we talked about subscriptions, but we don't ever talk about how people are buying, things that they don't need all the time, like you're drinking and you're smoking and all that good stuff, things that are not good for your health anyway. Cut it out. Save the money, invest that into Bitcoin every day, and you'll thank yourself later in 5 years.
Absolutely, absolutely. And remember your community, guys. Find your like-minded, your A likes, find those people and start seeing what you guys can barter with each other. See what their skills are, discuss your skills. Maybe there's something that you can do for them, and then they can return that favor to you with the skills they have. So the community is definitely going to be important moving forward, especially with all the transits that we have going on. The power is coming back to the people. The people are going to be liberated through these new transits of the outer planets with, Pluto and Aquarius, Uranus and Gemini, and a couple other that are coming up, and even looking at Neptune going into Aries. This is the time where the power is coming back to the people. So you guys have to find strength in community, and community matters. So get those skills written down. What can you do? What can you offer? Can you sew? Can you cook? What can you do? And, barter that with each other.
Yeah, and that's a good point too, because service-based business always do well. Cleaning, plumbing, electrician, right? Any service-based business, people always need HVAC. So if you learn that skill in the cleaning business, anybody can start that, right? People always need their house clean. So there's just different things that you can do now that can help bring in the money. And it's just really being able to think outside the box and not so much think that, oh, I need to go get another job, I'm going to be stretched in. No, it's about what talent, what skills that I have that I can utilize and capitalize from, right? That I already have. I don't have to go and learn anything new.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was alluding to when I was opening up about people not going into certain professions, certain high need professions. Like you see, I'm sure you saw that funny meme where it says, we got too many rappers. We need more plumbers and electricians and all of that. But yes, Queen, real power is people. Real strength is in the streets where everybody's equal. Forever P.
Yeah, and so we like to close out the show with solutions, and so we have we have a couple. One of the things that we kept bringing up is taking a holistic approach to this, right? Don't look at it from a mundane aspect. Don't look at it from a 3D earthly perspective. Look at it from a more higher self perspective, right? Look at it from an aerial view, looking down, because as we said before, this too shall pass, and this is either the pressure either bust pipes or it makes diamonds, doesn't it? And so let you be that diamond that's going to shine through this. Now, community matters. For one thing, you want to find like-minded people that you can rely on, grow with, run with, that's going to help build you in the long run, and you help build them. Maybe you guys could start up a barter system or something. But definitely community is going to be the focus, and maybe even start a community garden or something like that, and have some healthy, sustainable food in your community as well. Protect your dreams, right? Don't let this sway you from whatever it is that you were trying to do. And don't let money ever be a hindrance to your path or your joy. Find ways that you can get started today that doesn't require money. Scale back your spending. What I mean by that is not so much cut out. I don't like that word cut out. I don't like being restrictive, but what we mean is take what you're already spending and see how you can reallocate that money to something more purposeful, right? Something that's going to make you money instead of lose money. I mentioned Netflix, right? People are spending $26 a month, which is ridiculous, right? Because when you add it all up, that's over $2,500 a year for Netflix that could be reinvested into their stock, and you making money off that 2,500 instead of they're taking your money. Bitcoin's a big one. Look, if you buy Bitcoin, like I said, even if you just buy $5 of this week or $2 the next week, you don't have to spend a whole lot of money. I think people get the misconception that Bitcoin is worth 70,000. I have to have $70,000. No, you can start with $2, $3, $4, $5, right? Whatever you have, but start today. And then diverse investments. Yes, we talked about several ways that you can really invest in yourself, meaning that take stock of your skill that you already have to see how you can capitalize what you already know. And that's the best way to make money, because again, you can come up with a book, a product, or something that can be sold while you're asleep, and you're not having to work for that money, and it's working for you. So these are definitely great. And also with diverse investments, we also talked about buying assets on top of that. So if you're going to leverage credit, use that credit to buy an asset that's going to produce money, and you'll be all right as far as the credit goes.
Yeah. And Portia, you would be remiss if you didn't promote your book, ma'am.
Yeah, I do have a book. I'm sorry, I did not bring it up. I didn't know if we could do our promotions on this panel, but yes, I do have fiat to fiat to digital, meaning that a lot of people don't understand what fiat is, and fiat is your paper money. So the book is talking about how we're going from the paper money system to the digital money system. And my book is more or less about getting your mind right about making that transition. Because to be honest with you, the financial system has always been ever evolving since we've been alive. I remember when I was a little girl, people were writing out checks, and then all of a sudden people could do online banking. And then from the online banking, now we have debit cards, right? So the financial industry has always been changing with technology. And then now with this new technology coming out, I'm going to help you be prepared even more about how to utilize it and be more confident with it with my book. But you can find my book on Amazon, and you can also go to learndigitalwealth.com, and the book is there as well as my course if you want to learn the basics of crypto.
Yeah, you see what I did there, right? I connecting the dots again. Not only did I hit you with the digital currency, but you were also talking about selling them products that you can sell in your sleep. So come on now, like you got.
I'll put the link to my products in the chat, like in the comments below, so people will have access to it. Because I am a big proponent about people getting started learning how to use crypto, i.e. Bitcoin. Like I said, you can learn the others because I like Solana, I like XRP, right? They're good, but at the end of the day, the one that you want to hold on to forever will be the Bitcoin.
Yeah, and you're also showing, by promoting this, you're also showing that you are actually doing what you're telling the audience.
Practicing what I'm preaching.
Practicing what you're preaching, exactly.
I'm practicing what I'm preaching.
She's telling you to create a book that you can sell while you're sleeping. Portia done did it. She told you to buy some Bitcoin. Portia already doing it. So, come on now.
You kind of sound like Hope did that, so you don't have to do that, right? Like, but no. But I did take those steps for you guys in order to learn to put it out to the masses, because when I was learning about crypto, no one taught me the basics. And I've had a lot of good feedback from my course. A lot of people like, man, I had no idea. Like I bought some Bitcoin, but I didn't know what to do with it. Now your class is kind of giving me clarity of what to do, what it is, blockchain technology, because no one knows what blockchain does or what it is. And so the course covers all that stuff. And wallet safety. That's a big thing.
Yep. Very good. And absolutely, we can promote our stuff here. We probably should be doing that anyway.
Yes, we should be. Because you have a great website. I think you need to be promoting your website more often. People can realize that.
Yeah, I always lack promoting myself. So we all need to do better with that, But yeah, definitely go get the Queen's book, Fiat to Digital. This is the age where you really do need to be looking at, converting your fiat to digital in whatever way you can, whether that be through investing it or just making sure that you are up to date with all of the new ways that money is being transferred and technology is being used, because it is a difference. And we can see it because now you can see a lot of the companies are even like the Cash Apps and all that, PayPal's, Venmos, you can buy Bitcoin and stuff through them.
Now, yeah.
Now you can buy some stocks through them. So there's no excuse. We all have a cash app. We all have something like that on our phone. Go in there and buy your stocks. But the one other thing I wanted to point out about those types of companies is those types of companies, especially Cash App, is now starting to give people loans, or you can like get loan money to you through Cash App, and then I guess it comes out of your check or however they get it back from you. I haven't done it, but I've heard people saying, "Oh, you can borrow money from Cash App now." And my thing is, the reason why they're doing all this, and you have all these different companies like Cash App, you have Earnin, you have something. I think they have something called Dave. There's another one, I forget the name of it, but there's a few companies like that now where you can like borrow money from them, and then it comes out of your check, is because they know that the country's in debt. They know we're all in debt. They know we need that money. They know we're living less than paycheck to paycheck. A lot of us, we're robbing Peter to pay Paul. So, just FYI, when you see companies doing that, that's letting you know right there, hey, the face of money is changing. The face of currency and the way that we think about it, the way that we handle it is changing. So we always need to, try to stay at the precipice of those changes so we're not left behind as a community.
Now, you brought up a really good point. I just thought about those payday loan places probably seeing tons of people in and out that door now.
They are. There's more and more of them popping up every second.
I need to get in that business.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad but true. But when we're in these economic times, those kind of places are the ones that profit.
Yeah. Yeah. And people are struggling with all of this debt, whether it be your car note, your mortgage, your credit cards, your taxes on your land, and your regular taxes. So just understand that you're not alone if you're feeling that squeeze. We are all feeling that squeeze. So again, find your community, find your ALikes, barter, and get all of these great solutions that we put up here for you, and never abandon your dreams and your destiny over dollars.
Yep, that's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah. And then some of those things are traps too. So don't fall for the traps. Don't fall for the traps
Right.
of the new loan programs and the buy now, pay laters, the BNPLs, all of those. And while I'm here, before I close out, I got to shout out Queen B too, because not just Portia that be making money in her sleep. Queen B be making money in her sleep too. Don't worry, I'm gonna catch up too. I'm gonna create my stuff too, so I can make money in my sleep. But those two sisters, they on it. So Queen B gonna tell you about what how she make money in her sleep, and how it can help you as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I do have journals on Amazon. They're Balance and Elemental Energy journals. You can go there. It's the best 10 you'll ever spend. It'll give you a plethora of information and somewhere to write out your reflections or your manifestations. Also have astro numerology birthday cards where you can go to numeralytics.net to purchase a birthday card for your loved one. We are in Taurus season. We're coming up on Gemini season, but you can get your cards ready for any birthday that you want to get it ready for and purchase a card and send it. Also have Cosmic Cubs up there to accompany the birthday cards. The Cosmic Cubs are upgraded. They're all customizable. There's no more pick your sign and number. They're customizable. So if you want a Cosmic Cub, you do reach out. I'll get your information and it gets customized to you specifically. So we do have that service, and I have a subscription also on the website that will help you because it gives you access to a full cosmic calendar that gives you the universal and your personal energy for the day, month, or year. Also gives you where the moon is and how that's interacting with you for the day. And it also gives you access to my numerology aspects calculator called Whammy. Those are your wants, your abilities, your must, and your individual frequency. And those are your numerology aspects, just like you have in astrology. And you can go take a look at those aspects to see where you're struggling at. And it may be very eye opening for you, as it was for myself. So it'll be very eye opening for you. It's been eye opening for others. And you can use that on yourself or anybody. If you're subscribed, it's free and you can use it as many times as you want. And I'll get off of my own soapbox now. But again, please visit me at numeralytics.net. You can also get a free aspect there. One of the aspects are free. It's your IM aspect. So that's your individual frequency and your life path. How do those things support each other to help you along your destiny and to fulfill your dreams? So I'll get off my soapbox. I want to say peace and love. And this has been a great episode. And I want to thank my co-host for everything. Just love you guys. So peace.
Same here. And this is one for the record books, y'all. So again, if you love this information, you're enjoying it, go ahead, like, subscribe, and share this with someone who can also benefit from the information we're dropping on this channel. Again, every Monday you can catch us. And then if you have any comments, so the comment question of the week will be, what are you doing now to survive this current economy? Right? So what changes are you making, or what habits are you breaking in order to sustain in this current economy? How are you moving your money around, right? So these are the things that we want to talk about in the comments. So go ahead and drop your answer in the comments, and we'll love to hear from you. And until then, we'll see you next week. Take care, be blessed, and be well. Peace.
Peace, love, and harmony in this 6th universal month.